tweet, says Meghan McCain. I'm horrified. I have never been more proud of the fact that Putin hates my father so much. He personally sanctioned him on Russia's enemy list. All right, so there's of course the elected officials. By some Republicans here. A Republican, Paul Ryan, says there's no question that Russia interfered in our election and continues to undermine democracy here and around the world. The president must appreciate that Russia is not our ally. There is no moral equivalent. So that's a pretty decent condemnation. Probably like 5 or 6 on the scale of a 10. More than I would have expected, to be honest. Armed Services Committee Chair John McCain pretty much said, no prior president has ever abased himself more objectively before a tyrant so eloquent. So he pretty much went ham on him, pretty much. That's how I would describe it. Bob Corker, on the intelligence committee. These people work for the president. For him to not defend their activities, to me, is very sad. He condemned it. Jeff Flake, all your normal characters said it. Users like things like stuff like a transmission of the show, and that's why I'm playing so much music. We're really at this point just not sure if we're live on the air, which is a little bit of a problem, obviously, if you as I'm sure you can imagine. All right, we got a lot of story to get to and not a lot of time, so let's do it now. So let's meet now the Russian woman, Maria Butina, who's a 29-year-old Russian woman who reportedly aided an attempt to set up, quote-unquote, a backdoor meeting between Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin in May 2016, and was arrested Sunday and charged on Monday with conspiracy to act as an agent of a foreign government. So, at the best of a senior, this is from the New York Times, the last part was from Spenser. At the behest of a senior Russian government official, the woman, Maria Butina, made connections through the NRA, religious organizations, and National Prayer Breakfast to steer the Republican Party toward more pro-Russia policies, court records show. Privately comparing herself to a Soviet Union Cold War propagandist, she worked to infiltrate American organizations and establish a back channel lines of communication with American politicians. These lines could be used by Russian Federation to penetrate the U.S. national decision-making apparatus to advance the agenda of the Russian Federation, an FBI agent wrote in court documents. So pretty much what was really going on here was really a concerted attempt, pretty much, to really get at the heart of the matter, which was pretty much really trying to get into Republican strongholds, quote unquote, pretty much places where Republicans come, Republicans decide policy, etc., and really do their best to influence what was being discussed there. So, charges were reportedly filed by a national security prosecutor for the Justice Department, an investigation that was carried out parallel to the investigation run by Special Counsel Robert Mueller. The Justice Department accuses her of working with a high-level Russian government official who the Times identified as Alexander Torshin, a deputy governor of Russia's central bank, whom Butina reportedly worked as a special assistant on a scheme going back as far as 2015 and lasting until at least February 2017 to shift. And I know you've seen probably some video or some article that shows you the Republicans' favorability ratings toward Vladimir Putin. That was no accident. It was because of Trump's message, his ties with Putin, but it was no accident. It was because of concerted efforts throughout big Republican points in a scheme run by this woman to change perceptions, change opinions of Russians towards Trump, which I think it's very interesting stuff there. No doubt about that. The Justice Department then accuses her of that. So Butina's gun rights advocate with ties to the NRA, as the Daily Beast reported last year. So Torshin and Butina are passionate defenders of gun owners' rights. Both are lifetime members of the NRA. Only two Russians known to be lifetime members. Torshin once tweeted he knew to be lifetime members. The two attended the NRA's annual meeting in 2014 as special guests of the then NRA president David Keene. We are a young organization. We are 3 years old. And we invited David Keene, and he made a speech at our annual meeting. So it's like an answer from one side, Butina told Town Hall. The next is a life member of our organization. He's a Russian senator. His name is Senator Alexander Torshin. He's a life member of the NRA too, and he's usually a participant of such events and every annual meeting of the NRA. But now the situation between our two countries is very difficult, and we have to go together with Senator Torshin. He's a great gun lover. He supports our organization. He's a friend of the NRA. So, yeah, and there was definitely a lot of stuff going on there. So this is the Daily Beast. We're talking about this last year, just randomly, or not randomly, just in the context of this whole generally unfolding organization here, which is pretty interesting. So this kind of scheme. So here's more about how she used ties to the NRA. Butina viewed the NRA as a powerful force for shifting Russian Republican policies, court records show. She described the group as the largest sponsor of the election to the U.S. Congress, which is right about that, and as a sponsor of the Conservative Political Action Conference. The NRA is not named in court records, but its ties to Butina and Torshin have been previously reported. The NRA did not respond to a message seeking comment. In May 2016, Torshin and Butina proposed a meeting between Trump and Putin during the annual NRA convention in Louisville, Kentucky. Jared Kushner, Trump's son-in-law, shut down the proposal, but Donald Trump Jr., the president's eldest son, did meet Torshin and Butina at an NRA-sponsored dinner. Yeah, Don Jr. Yeah, I mean, Don Jr., I really get the sense. And this seems, it's probably going to be an unpopular opinion. Like, of all the Trump sons, I think he has to be the dumbest. Like, I think it's pretty clear, right? He's got to be the dumbest, right? Because I can't really think of anyone who's done more things to really, really hurt their father than this guy has. Because it's like he tries almost. Like it's really some quite some incredible stuff. Because it's like what? Like he thought it'd be. Or, I just thought of something. It's the case that he pretty much just, what he does is he just is the guinea pig and gets set out by his dad. And that's way more likely. If you read into it, they don't have the best of relationships over their lives together. But he just gets sent out to try things. So yeah. Yeah, I mean, you really know it's a good idea when Jared Kushner, of all people, is the one who wants to throw in the rakes. And Jared Kushner, again, just like all the people Trump surrounds himself, not the smartest guy in the world here. So in a statement, Butina's lawyer denied the charges. Maria Butina is a non-agent, of the Russian Federation. Butina's lawyer, Robert Driscoll, said in a statement to the Times, "There's simply no indication of Butina speaking to influence or undermine any specific policy or law." So that's pretty much their denial there. We kind of got to put that in there just for fairness and all that. But we do know that there is some substantial evidence against her on that front. So, yeah. Now we turn to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She's exploring a sub-caucus of progressives in the House that will be willing to vote as a bloc to leverage their power. She said in a recent podcast interview, progressives in Congress have been watching Ocasio-Cortez closely for clues about how she'll navigate the unwieldy chamber that is the House of Representatives, where she is expected to arrive in the November election. Ryan Graham of The Intercept is reporting. The interest of that includes in her is personal. Will she endorse a primary challenge against me, as well as the institutional? Progressive Democrats are excited to have a telegenic spokesperson carry their message, but some have expressed private concern that she may look to organize a bloc of Democrats who could eclipse Congressional Progressive Caucus in prominence. So Ocasio-Cortez, how about you go join them? Yeah, but they wouldn't really be welcome because she tweeted recently, I only call a progressive someone who meets some certain standards. And she ticks off these standards. Check. Are you a fan of Medicare for all? Do you support a living wage? Do you support free college, all those same Bernie Sanders positions that you can really rattle off of, really off the top of your head. Ocasio-Cortez has been insistent she has no intention of burning the party to the ground or stoking needless internal rifts, preferring instead to persuade her colleagues to move on in a more aggressively populist direction. And that's going to be hard. As unapologetic and strong as I am in my messaging and beliefs, my style is that I'm a consensus builder, she adds. So, I mean, that's something that the Chuck Schumers of the world would be happy to hear. So this is the Jacobin podcast that she was on here. But she is, at bottom, an organizer. When persuasion doesn't work, the caucus isn't maximizing its influence. She has made clear, though, that she is aware of the tools at her disposal. The current CPC is made up of 78 members. It's too amorphous to act as a united bloc, which saps it of its strength, Ocasio-Cortez argued, which is a great point. It's like, if these people are not powerful enough, if these people aren't united enough, they don't have any power. So, like, if you say, "Oh, the CPC will stand united," no, they won't. So, what's the point of having a CPC then? And this is the same argument, the same rationale that they used back in 2010 or whatever, or whenever the Freedom Caucus began, to break away from the Republican it's called the Republican Study Committee, because it just wasn't united enough. So then, at that point, it just wasn't strong enough. The thing that gives the caucus power is that you can operate as a block vote in order to get things done, Ocasio-Cortez told Daniel Devanere, host of Jacobin's The Dig. Even if you carve out a sub-portion, a sub-caucus of the Progressive Caucus, even if you carve even a smaller block, but one that operates a block, you could generate some real power. I mean, even if you just get 10 or 15 people, which, I mean, I think it's possible in the House of Representatives, I think it'd be very interesting to see what you could do. All right, so yeah, it's got to be exclusive. We need a Democratic Tea Party. It's very important. All right, that would be incredibly ideal. I'm going to say that it would be incredibly ideal to have some kind of a Freedom Caucus type on the left. It's a group that's not afraid to be progressive, unapologetically progressive, but in the end also gets things done, and it's not just some pie in the sky kind of group that doesn't have any real power. I mean, it could really generate some power with even a small amount of people, because then you could get more and more people behind you, which would be a pretty ideal situation. All right. Yeah, so now we move to the reaction now to the continuing fallout over this Putin press conference. And we're going to read some quotes here. A number of people this is from Jonathan Swan and Mike Allen, as now the White House officials are now explaining why the commander-in-chief is in fact a babbling moron. So this is from Axios. A number of people who've discussed election meddling with Trump, including current senior administration officials, say his brain can't process the collusion and cyber attacks are two different things. Huh? What? I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, how can he be that... I mean, I don't want to put anything past Trump in terms of stupidity, because he's an incredibly dumb dude. But still, that is incredible. So Swan and Allen continue to say Trump seems constitutionally incapable of taking anything Mueller seriously, and he says ego prevents him from acknowledging the possibility that any external action could have interfered with his glorious victory. Wow. So, I mean, maybe it's just them talking, mostly them talking, but if that is true, and if that's what they really do believe, then that is incredible. Like, I've never heard anyone could be that dumb. I couldn't imagine that anyone could be that dumb. Ordinarily, the President of the United States would have a severe case of mush mind. Having a severe case of mush mind would be something the responsible White House staffer would, do something about. But according to CNN's Jim Acosta, everyone's around him is afraid to tell him he shouldn't do these things. So great. Yeah, he's literally someone who doesn't understand the difference between collusion and